Greetings, dear reader. What you're about to embark upon is a journey filled with mystery, adventure, and secrets buried deep within the heart of a forgotten island. The secret of the hidden island is not just a tale of exploration, but of moral choices, ancient civilizations, and a race against time that will keep you on the edge of your seat. In this story, we follow Alex, a curious adventurer with a deep thirst for knowledge, who is about to uncover a mystery that could alter the very fabric of history. With an old map passed down from their grandfather and a team of unlikely companions, Alex will venture into the unknown waters to uncover the truth behind a legend that has baffled explorers for centuries. But beware, there are those who would stop at nothing to get their hands on the island's greatest secret, and as the journey unfolds, Alex will learn that some secrets are best left undiscovered. So, let us begin. I invite you to sail into the unknown with Alex and their crew. Prepare for twists, revelations, and a tale of courage as we unveil the secret of the hidden island. Chapter 1. The Legend of the Hidden Island. It was late afternoon when Alex sat by the attic window, the rays of the setting sun casting a warm golden light over the dusty floorboards. The attic was quiet, save for the occasional creak of the old house, its silence a stark contrast to the storm of thoughts swirling in Alex's mind. Their grandfather had passed away a few weeks ago, and although they had known the day would come, Alex had not expected it to feel this final. While going through some of his belongings, Alex stumbled across a weathered old chest. It wasn't particularly large, but it was adorned with intricate carvings, and something about its age and wear suggested that it held more than just forgotten trinkets. The chest's key had been lost long ago, but it wasn't locked, just stubborn, as if resisting its own secrets. With a small grunt of effort, Alex pried it open, and there it was, a folded piece of parchment, frayed at the edges but still legible, bearing an ancient map. At first glance, it looked like any ordinary map, but there was something strange about it. It depicted a small, uncharted island in the middle of a vast ocean, surrounded by what appeared to be uninhabitable waters. Strange symbols adorned the corners, almost like a code, and the words scrawled across the bottom read, "The Island of Eternity, where time meets the ocean." Alex's heart raced as they carefully unfolded the map, their fingers brushing over the ink as if the very touch might reveal something more. The symbols, however, were a mystery, and the island itself, though marked clearly on the map, did not appear on any modern nautical charts. This wasn't just a lost island. It was a place that had been forgotten by the world, or perhaps hidden. Was it real? The idea of finding a hidden island had always been one of Alex's most cherished fantasies. As a child, they had often daydreamed of distant lands, untold treasures, and ancient ruins, imagining themselves as the hero of a grand adventure. But now, staring at the map in their hands, that childhood fantasy seemed all too real. The island's existence, though uncertain, had been part of whispered legends for centuries, its secret hidden away from the world. But why? And who had hidden it? Is it even possible? Alex muttered to themselves, scanning the map for any clues. The sound of footsteps echoed from the stairwell, snapping Alex out of their thoughts. They quickly tucked the map into their jacket and turned to face the doorway, where Evelyn stood, a soft smile on her face. Evelyn had always been a reliable companion in the pursuit of knowledge, and a part of Alex's childhood had been spent alongside her, lost in books and theories of uncharted territories. Now, as an adult, she had become a historian, someone who made a career out of uncovering the past, especially the forgotten and mysterious parts of it. "Find something interesting?" Evelyn asked, stepping into the room and eyeing the open chest. Alex hesitated for a moment before pulling the map from their jacket. "You could say that," they replied, their voice tinged with excitement. "Take a look at this." Evelyn took the map in her hands, her brows furrowing as she examined it closely. Her fingers traced the symbols, her lips moving in silent recognition. "This is no ordinary map. Where did you find it?" "In my grandfather's chest," Alex replied, their voice barely a whisper. "He must have known something about it. But what exactly? I don't know yet." Evelyn's expression shifted to one of cautious intrigue. "The Island of Eternity. This is a legend, Alex. A very old legend. But if it's real, if this island actually exists..." Her voice trailed off as she gazed at the map, the weight of the discovery settling between them. The island was said to be a place of great mystery, a place that could change everything. Yet, despite the temptation to explore its secrets, there were warnings of dangers so ancient they had been lost to time. Some said the island was cursed, while others believed it held the key to immortality itself. "I think it's real, Evelyn. I think it's out there," Alex said with a conviction that surprised even them. "And I need to find it." Evelyn looked up, meeting Alex's gaze, and for a moment, the room seemed to hold its breath. "And you want me to help you? To go after it?" Alex nodded. "I can't do it alone. I don't even know where to start. But if you're willing, I think we can uncover whatever secrets this place holds." Evelyn considered this for a long moment before nodding slowly. "All right then. But we need to be careful. Legends have a way of hiding their truth beneath layers of danger." As Alex folded the map carefully, a sense of purpose filled them. This was no longer just a quest for discovery. It was a call to adventure, and the journey to uncover the secret of the hidden island was about to begin. Chapter 2. A dangerous journey begins the days after Alex discovered the map passed in a blur. It was as if their world had shifted on its axis, and now every moment felt like it was leading them towards something extraordinary. But as they started preparing for the journey ahead, the weight of what they were about to do began to sink in. The hidden island, the legendary place that had haunted sailors' tales for centuries. The island where time itself was said to twist and turn in ways that defied explanation. Alex had dreamed of this moment since they were a child, but now that it was real, it felt more dangerous than they ever imagined. Preparation and plans. Alex spent long hours poring over the ancient map, comparing it to modern charts, studying the symbols that marked the uncharted territory. The more they researched, the more the map seemed to pulse with a life of its own. The island was there, they were sure of it, but where exactly? And what dangers lurked beneath the calm surface of the sea? The only clue was a set of coordinates at the bottom of the map, almost faded into oblivion. Yet they were legible enough. The Black Waters, the map called it, an area infamous for its treacherous currents, reefs that sank ships, and fog that disoriented the most seasoned sailors. It wasn't just a legend. It was a place that had driven entire crews mad with the uncertainty of whether they would ever find their way out. But Alex was determined. They knew they couldn't embark on this quest alone. The crew would need to be skilled, adaptable, and above all, trusted. First, they reached out to Jake, a burly and experienced sailor who had worked alongside Alex's grandfather on several expeditions. Jake was more than just a navigator. He was a man of the sea, whose instincts had kept him alive through storms and wrecks. He wasn't easily spooked, and that was exactly what Alex needed. Evelyn, Alex's lifelong friend, had always been the rational one, but she also shared Alex's curiosity about the unknown. A historian by trade, Evelyn specialized in ancient cultures and forgotten legends. She was skeptical of the hidden island's existence, but she couldn't resist the opportunity to study something that could rewrite history itself. Maya, the brilliant tech whiz and a close college friend, was also on board. She had developed underwater drones and other equipment meant for deep-sea exploration. Maya wasn't as enthused by the idea of uncharted islands, but the idea of testing out her tech in the most challenging environment possible was something she couldn't pass up. Setting sail, the morning of departure arrived sooner than expected. The sky was still dark when Alex, Evelyn, and Maya made their way to the docks, where the Seeker, a sturdy two-masted schooner, waited for them. The boat had been prepared with all the supplies they would need: provisions, navigational tools, and most importantly, the latest technology to help them map and study the waters they would be sailing through. As Alex stepped onto the ship, their heart beat faster. The reality of the situation was settling in. This was no longer a pipe dream. The journey ahead would not be easy, and it could very well be dangerous. But Alex couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement. Jake was already at the helm, his face tanned and gruff, his hands steady on the wheel. He nodded at Alex as they approached, his weathered face breaking into a rare smile. "Well, kid, it's about time. You ready to chase down a ghost?" Alex nodded, taking a deep breath. "More ready than I've ever been." The crew began to work, checking the sails, securing the ropes, and preparing the equipment. Maya busied herself with her tech, calibrating the latest underwater drones. She glanced up occasionally, eyeing the water with skepticism. "I don't know if I like this," Maya muttered. "The atmosphere here feels off." Evelyn, standing nearby, looked up at the sky and then at the water, her brow furrowed. "You mean like a storm's coming?" "Not quite," Maya replied, "but something about the air here. It's like the world is holding its breath." Despite Maya's unease, the crew continued their preparations. The boat set sail, cutting through the calm waters. As they moved further from the shore, the familiar landscape faded into the distance. The sky brightened, the air grew warmer, and the sea stretched out before them like an endless expanse. The calm before the storm. For the first few days, the sea was tranquil. The journey was smooth, and the crew settled into a rhythm. Alex spent hours poring over the map and ancient texts, trying to decipher the cryptic symbols and gain insight into what lay ahead. Evelyn assisted, suggesting theories based on her studies, while Maya kept herself busy with her equipment, gathering data on the ocean floor. Jake, meanwhile, was the steadying force. He kept the crew focused, ensuring that they followed their course, never veering off track. At night, he told stories of his own experiences at sea, regaling them with tales of perilous journeys and miraculous escapes. But something still gnawed at Alex. Despite the calm, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Every now and then, Alex would glance over the side of the ship, scanning the vast ocean around them, but they saw nothing. It was as though the sea itself was hiding something they were not meant to find. On the fourth day, the weather shifted suddenly. The wind picked up, and the sky darkened in an instant. It was as if a great force had reached down and stirred the waters. The crew scrambled to adjust the sails, securing everything as best as they could. Jake barked orders, his calmness in the face of the storm a testament to his experience. The wind howled, and the boat rocked violently as massive waves crashed against its sides. The air grew thick with salt and sea spray, and the crew struggled to keep their footing on the slippery deck. "This came out of nowhere," Maya shouted over the roar of the wind, clutching the rail for support. "Storms like this happen in the black waters," Jake grunted, gripping the wheel with both hands. "They come out of nowhere, and they vanish just as fast." For what felt like hours, the storm battered the Seeker. Waves slammed into the boat, and the crew did everything they could to stay on course. Despite their best efforts, the boat was being pushed further off the path. The storm didn't feel natural. It was as if something was trying to prevent them from reaching their destination. Finally, as quickly as it had come, the storm passed. The wind died down, and the sky cleared, revealing a starry night. The sea, however, was unnervingly calm, like the storm had never happened. Jake let out a heavy sigh, wiping his brow. "That wasn't a storm, that was a warning." "What do you mean?" Alex asked, their voice tight with tension. "The black waters don't just play tricks on the mind," Jake said quietly. "They test you. They make you question everything." The mysterious ship the following day, as the crew tried to regain their bearings and adjust their course, a new danger emerged. From the horizon, a ship appeared. It wasn't just any ship. It was sleek and black, cutting through the water with unnerving precision. The name, the Rapture, was painted on its stern in bold red letters. The ship was fast, too fast, almost as though it were gliding over the water. As it drew closer, Alex's heart sank. There was something wrong about the ship. It felt predatory. As the ship drew nearer, Alex could make out the figures aboard. They were all dressed in dark clothing, their faces obscured by shadows. And then Alex saw him. Victor Blackthorn. Alex's stomach dropped. Victor was a treasure hunter of the highest caliber, a man whose obsession with ancient artifacts and hidden wealth was legendary. He had always operated on the fringes of legal expeditions, sometimes crossing lines and employing dubious methods to get what he wanted. Alex had crossed paths with him before, and they did not trust him. Victor's gaze locked with Alex's, and though he was far away, Alex could feel the intensity of his stare. His lips curled into a sinister smile. "We have unfinished business, don't we, Alex?" he shouted, his voice carried by the wind. Alex's mind raced. Was this a coincidence? Or had Victor been tracking them all along? Chapter 3. The shadow of Victor Blackthorn, the appearance of the Rapture, had shattered the quiet confidence the crew had felt. Alex stood at the bow of the Seeker, watching as the sleek black ship drew closer, cutting through the water like a predator closing in on its prey. The unease was palpable. Victor Blackthorn. The name stirred a mixture of anger and fear in Alex. Victor was not just a rival. He was a dangerous man, ruthless in his pursuit of wealth and ancient relics. Alex had crossed paths with him before, during an expedition to a sunken city in the Mediterranean. Victor had gotten there first, bribing officials, manipulating the local authorities, and eventually taking the prize, a priceless artifact that Alex's grandfather had spent years searching for. Alex had always suspected that Victor had used darker methods, perhaps even supernatural means, to find the treasures he sought. And now, here he was, following Alex's crew, drawn to the hidden island for reasons that were unclear, but certainly sinister. Alex turned to Jake, who was already watching the ship through his binoculars. "That's not a coincidence," Alex said, their voice tight. Jake nodded grimly. "No, it's not. Blackthorn has his eyes on the same prize, and I bet he's not here to play nice." Evelyn joined them, her expression conflicted. "We knew there was a risk that others might be after the island, but I didn't expect him. We have to outrun him," Alex said, a determined edge to their voice. "If we get there first, we can make our discovery. We can prove that the island exists." Jake scowled. "The question is, can we outrun him? He's got a faster ship and a crew that's used to these waters." Maya, who had been monitoring the ship on her tech, looked up from her device. "He's not just fast. The Rapture is equipped with military-grade sensors and communications. If they've been tracking us, they know exactly where we are." Alex felt a chill run through them. "We need to find a way to shake him off." A dangerous plan. The crew gathered to discuss their options. It was clear that a direct confrontation with Victor would be disastrous. They needed to get to the island first, without him knowing exactly where they were headed. But with Victor's resources, that wouldn't be easy. "We need to go off the grid," Evelyn suggested. "If we change our course and avoid regular navigation channels, it'll be harder for them to track us. We can use the old routes, the ones sailors used when they didn't want to be found." Jake agreed. "There are some hidden coves along the coastlines of the Black Waters. If we take the right turns, we can slip through without being detected." Alex nodded. "That's our best chance. We'll head toward those coves. If we can stay ahead of him long enough, we'll have a better shot at finding the island first." Maya looked uneasy. "I've been tracking the water currents. It's risky. We'll need to cut through some dangerous reefs, and the currents are unpredictable. One wrong move, and we'll end up stuck." "We don't have much of a choice," Alex replied, their eyes narrowing as they watched the Rapture draw nearer. "We have to take that risk. I'm not letting Blackthorn get there before us." The pursuit that night, as the stars began to appear, the crew put their plan into action. They changed course, steering the Seeker toward the rugged coastline of the Black Waters, using the small islands as cover. The water grew darker, more ominous, as if the sea itself was trying to swallow them whole. 4 hours, the crew sailed through narrow straits and jagged rocks, making sharp turns whenever the Rapture seemed to draw closer. Every now and then, Alex would look back, their eyes scanning the horizon for the glint of black sails. The ship was always there, a dark shadow trailing them, never far behind. "Stay sharp," Jake ordered as he kept the ship on course, his hands steady on the wheel. "We're nearing the reefs. There's no room for error now." The tension in the air was palpable. Evelyn was at the stern, watching the water and marking coordinates on her map. Maya was working with her equipment, trying to calculate the precise angles for the safest path through the reef. Alex stood beside them, keeping watch. Every now and then, they could hear the faint hum of the Rapture's engines, growing louder as it closed the distance. Then, as they rounded a particularly treacherous bend in the coast, disaster struck. A massive gust of wind hit, catching the sails and knocking the seeker off course. The boat lurched violently to the side, throwing the crew off balance. "Hold on!" Jake shouted, gripping the wheel as the ship veered dangerously toward the jagged rocks ahead. Alex rushed to the bow, yelling for Evelyn and Maya to brace themselves. There was no time to think, only to act. With a swift maneuver, Jake managed to steer the ship away from the rocks, but not before the seeker scraped against one of them, sending a shockwave of pain through the hull. The impact was enough to tear a hole in the side of the boat. Water began pouring in, and alarms started blaring. "We're taking on water," Maya shouted, already racing to the pump. "It's not a huge leak, but we need to patch it up fast." Alex's heart raced as they jumped to assist Maya. They grabbed whatever tools they could find, working together to stem the flow of water. But they could hear the distant sound of the Rapture's engines closing in. Victor wasn't far behind. "We need to move," Evelyn said, her voice sharp. "We can't fight him and fix this at the same time." Jake surveyed the damage to the ship, then turned to Alex with a determined look. "We can keep going, but we need to get to land and make repairs. If we don't, we're sitting ducks." The hidden cove with no time to waste, Jake steered the seeker toward a small, hidden cove they had passed earlier. The entrance was narrow and concealed by rocks, just large enough to fit their ship. It was the perfect place to hide, but they didn't know how long they could stay undetected. As they entered the cove, Maya and Evelyn worked quickly to patch up the hole, while Jake set up a temporary barricade to hide the ship from view. Alex stood watch, their mind racing with thoughts of what Victor might do once he realized they had taken refuge there. "Do you think he'll come after us?" Maya asked, her voice filled with doubt as she adjusted some of the equipment on the deck. "He will," Alex replied. "Victor never lets go of a prize." Evelyn was staring at the maps, her brow furrowed. "This is our chance to get ahead of him. If we can make repairs, we can head for the island without him trailing us. But we have to hurry." The crew worked through the night, their efforts focused on keeping the seeker seaworthy. When dawn finally broke, the boat was ready to sail again, but the crew was exhausted, tense, and on edge. As they set sail once more, Alex's thoughts turned to the island. They had come so far, and now, with Blackthorn hot on their heels, the stakes were higher than ever. The island was waiting, hidden somewhere beyond the horizon. But the journey was becoming more perilous by the day, and the closer they got to it, the more dangerous their path would become.